Welcome everyone. It's time to go wild. It's the Time to Go Wild radio show on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We are also live across the world on hcr923fm.com/listen via TuneIn and via smart speakers. If you want to contact the show, please do so. Facebook or twitter.com/TTGW radio. If you want to drop us an email, do so radio@widneswild.co.uk. Drop us a call 01928 835 291 or text 60066. Start your message with HCR. Messages charged at your standard network rate. That time of the week, it's time to go wild. A very warm welcome, everybody. It's the Time to Go Wild radio show on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We're back for another week, and it was an action-packed weekend. First off was under nines at Planet Ice Widnes on Saturday, and then the big game, wasn't it, Andy? It was a busy one as well.
It's been a busy weekend, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of those games where anything could happen, and quite a bit did.
Yeah, weekend of two halves, and I think really good result Saturday.
Yeah, very, very good result.
But I think it took its toll Sunday.
You could sort of feel it a bit, I think, from the crowd. They've worked themselves silly. Oh, and somebody's texting Andy in the studio.
That's meant to be on silent, sorry.
It's all right, it's happened to me. The curse of not having your phone on silent. But it was one of those games where it was fast, it was furious, absolutely anything could have happened, and it got very feisty and lively and forechecking and physical.
It was...
And some nice goals.
Some nice goals, or not always ours.
No, sadly.
But for me, that was back to how it used to be.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Very much old school Widnes VD side.
Yeah. Well, let's get the scores out of the way, and some very interesting interviews as well to back up all the action from the weekend. Here we go. Time for your weekly roundup of the results from the numerous leagues that we keep an eye out on every week. Starting with Elite League action on Wednesday, Nottingham Panthers 5, Manchester Storm 1. On Friday, Belfast Giants 6, Sheffield Steelers 2. Manchester Storm 5, Glasgow Clan 6 after overtime. On Saturday, Guildford Flames 4, Manchester Storm 1, Glasgow Clan 2, Cardiff Devils 5, Dundee Stars 1, Fife Flyers 5, Coventry Blaze 3, Nottingham Panthers 6, Belfast Giants 0, Sheffield Steelers 4. On Sunday, Nottingham Panthers 2, Guildford Flames 3, Dundee Stars 3, Coventry Blaze 5, Fife Flyers 4, Cardiff Devils 6. EIHA Under-18s North 2 action from Saturday. D-Side 5, Widnes 8, Solihull 11, Sutton 2, Manchester 3, Sheffield 5. EIHA Under-13s North 3 action from Saturday. Manchester 13, Billingham 9, Blackburn 2, Widnes 2. On Sunday for EIHA Under-11s North 3 action. Manchester 7, Whitley Bay 0. EIHA Women's Division 1 North action from Saturday. Solway Sharks Ladies 7, Grimsby Wolves 6. Nottingham Vipers 0, Telford Wrecking Raiders 15. NIHL National League action from Saturday. Bracknell Bees 11, Raiders 4, Swindon Wildcats 8, Hull Pirates 4, Basingstoke Bison 1, Sheffield Steel Dogs 2 after overtime. Milton Keynes Lightning 5, Telford Tigers 2, Leeds Chiefs 2, Peterborough Phantoms 9. On Sunday, Sheffield Steel Dogs 4, Bracknell Bees 3 after a shootout, Raiders 2, Basingstoke Bison 6, Hull Pirates 5, Milton Keynes Lightning 3, Telford Tigers 3, Peterborough Phantoms 2 after a shootout. NIHL Division 1 North Morley action from Saturday, Solway Sharks 9, Sutton Sting 3. On Sunday, Whitley Warriors 4, Solihull Barons 2, Billingham Stars 4, Solway Sharks 5. NIHL Midland Cup action from Sunday, Blackburn Hawks D1 11, Nottingham Lions 0. NIHL Division 2 North Laidler action from Saturday, Bradford Bulldogs 6, Sheffield Senators 3, Hull Jets 3, Altrincham Aces 6, Telford Tigers 2, Widnes Wild 5. On Sunday, Widnes Wild 2, Dragons 4. Come back for more next week. And after a busy weekend of ice hockey, both on Saturday and Sunday, I managed to catch up with some people after each set of events, and this is what they had to say. I managed to catch up with Sam Anderson after a very, very busy weekend for himself with our under-18s and with our very own YKK Widnes Wild. First off, Sam, big night on Saturday for the under-18s, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was great for the 18s to get the first win, obviously, and especially to beat D-side, our rivals as well. And by 8-5 is such a good score for the academy here.
I mean, it was in their rink as well, slightly bigger ice than here.
Yeah, we actually played really well on the big ice. I didn't expect it really, but our team pulled it together, and we worked like a unit, and it pulled off really well.
I mean, the game here against D-side a few weeks back for the under-18s was a really good game. It just wasn't quite bouncing right, and then last night in over the border in Wales, it seemed to click.
Yeah, the D-side lot, they try and get us to retaliate, and when we played them at home, we obviously did. We got a lot of penalty minutes, and including myself. But I kept the lid on it last night, and I managed to get no penalty minutes, and it pulled off, and we obviously got the win. So,
I mean, I've had a quick look at the game sheet, and it was quite a lively one. It got a bit feisty at a couple of points, and it is one of those types of games where, as you say, hot heads and cool heads can win you a game.
Yeah, especially with these side, they like playing a bit dirty sometimes, and being honest, some of our players did retaliate. We got a few match penalties and a few minors, but nowhere near as much as they did. Because, like I said, we didn't retaliate, and it obviously worked wonders. We got the win, and that's all we care about, to be honest.
I mean, as regarding the under-18 squad, I mean, it's new as a Widnes team to the league structures this year, and how are you feeling it's all coming together within the team?
It's doing great. Obviously, we've got a lot of new faces on, because some of the players' first seasons playing hockey. But they're doing really well. Especially like last night, we played like a really good team. Like looking at us, we didn't look like a first year team. We looked like a proper unit, and it was great to play with them. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
I mean, your junior hockey, you've done some here, then you went over to Altrincham because of the way the junior systems were at the time. I mean, how do you feel? How did it all feel coming back over and returning to the Widnes fold?
Oh yeah, it's great. Obviously, because I'm from Widnes, it's a great pleasure to play in my own rink. I did love it at Manchester, obviously, because we won the tournament and everything. But it's always better coming back to your hometown and playing for your own town and stuff. So yeah, I love it. I love playing it. It's great.
I mean, and of course, you've got your break this year, getting ice time with the YKK Widnes Wild in the senior team. It must be really good to get the extra experience, and of course, playing against faster, tougher, grittier players.
Yeah, I love it. I love playing with some of the lads in there. They're a great laugh, and because I've known them quite a few years now, obviously with my dad being the manager and everything. So, but being on the ice with them in front of me, my hometown, is just a great privilege, especially at 16 years old as well. Playing against some great players, playing with some great players, it's amazing. I love it.
I mean, you've been within the sort of helping out on match night fold, and you've been here with the big crowds, and now you're actually in the cauldron, so to speak, rather than the fire stoking the cauldron.
Yeah, it's weird because a few years ago, obviously, I did the scoreboard, didn't I? So watching it from a distance and then going straight into the, kind of the limelight kind of thing, it's a big transition. But like I said, I love it. I love being on the ice with them. It's great. It's great.
I mean, tonight it was the senior team's foray against the Dragons. Didn't quite go to plan, but not a lot in it. All in all, both between either team, and it shows how much the Dragons have rebuilt and restructured, and how competitive this Laidler League is this year.
Yeah, they played really hard tonight. They played with at least 150% effort, and they got the chances and they executed them. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. So they got obviously more goals and they won, unfortunately. So,
I mean, one thing, whether or not it's a positive, low penalty minutes again for the Wild, but unfortunately, the subtext was the power plays weren't quite coming together, but the defending was very tight. They were closing everyone down.
Yeah, we didn't really play our systems today very well. Nothing was clicking, and it obviously cost us a big game. It's a tough loss, especially against our rivals, D-side. Everyone in that changing rooms hates losing to D-side, especially D-side. So, it just didn't click for us tonight, and unfortunately we came from a loss. So
we've got still a cup game to go, a couple of cup games to go on the road, and then we've got we can really start focusing on the league action to go through into next year now.
Yeah, we've got, I don't know who we've got next. Is it Sutton next?
And Solihull.
Sutton and Solihull. But yeah, I think we're a few games behind on the leagues. But if we get the next few wins, we can easily be in the top three of the league, yeah.
So, will you be taking part much in the cup games, or have you got under 18s fixtures that are going to be taking up some of your time?
Well, with some of them, they do clash. I think a few around Christmas, because we do have a lot around Christmas. Obviously, we have much more with the Wild than we do with the 18, so it's only a few that clash. So hopefully, I'll be on most of the games with the Wild. So, yeah.
Well, it's been a busy weekend for you, so I'll let you get rested and recharge for the next time we catch up. So, thanks for joining me.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, we just had a under-9s tournament featuring teams from Widnes, Manchester, D-side and Telford here at Planet Ice Widnes, and I managed to catch up with Dave Clancy, who's been involved in today's escapades, we could say, and a fun event, I think, for everybody.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, it's been good fun for everybody. The kids love it. I'm just thankful I brought my stuff with me, so I was able to not only just be the coach on the ice to help out with D-side, but help out with all the teams, along with helping the goalies here and there, just trying to give them a few little tips to jump on the puck more instead of just leaving it there in front of them. But they all had fun, and that's what it's all about at this age.
I mean, cross ice, it's buzzer changes and short shifts, but it keeps them going. It's not too much for their legs. But we did put an extra surprise in at the end for them, which I don't think they were expecting.
No, we decided just at the beginning of it all, we thought, they're tired legs, but we've got some ice time. Let's utilise the ice time as much as we can. And we decided at the end we'll do a full ice game, mix the 4 teams, so 2 teams on one side, 2 teams on the other. And then at the end, even though I had frowny eyebrows from some rink staff, I thought, we'll have some penalty shots at the end as well. So, no, it was good fun. Kids lived it.
And an extra little twist on it, unlike under 11s where they play the same ends when you do have a change of period, we actually switched them round so they're used to playing one direction and then the other direction. And it did confuse them a little bit, but it adds to the realism of the event.
No, it does. I've done it a couple of times before, and it is hilarious, but that's when your job as a referee and coach at the same time has to come into play, because you've got a kid who was travelling one way trying to score, 2 seconds later is like looking at you as to say, which way am I supposed to take this puck? And you're like, go that end this time, go that end. But it's all fun, and they all loved it.
I mean, as you said, there were some tired legs, but they just kept going all day. And they do this every time I've seen cross ice, the under 9s, and even all the junior games. They just don't want to stop.
No, I think there's more energy from the kids at under 9s than any other age group. They just don't want to stop. They even moan when the buzzer goes for a shift change because they all want to stay out there all the time.
I mean, it's handy sometimes, I think, having an announcement at the end of the actual game, because the kids hear a buzzer go and all they think is, got to get on.
No, it's good. And I actually think it's more beneficial for someone to be on a tannoy, to be fair. I think it does help a lot with the kids, so they know what teams are playing where and how, that rather than parents, coaches, or the refs as we come on and try and help out, or shouting, it gets lost in the melee of stuff. Whereas we have an announcer, I think it makes a big difference, to be fair.
I mean, as far as yourself and your involvement in hockey, I mean, you go back to playing senior levels with Manchester Phoenix and D-side as well. And, everything you're saying, you've got the Coley coaching and the hockey coaching classes and sessions. It must be still a big part of your life.
No, it's a massive part of my life. I've played everywhere. My most favourite clubs that I played for was the Hawks. Loved it there. And, played at Manchester for all different ages and levels, and then the same at D-side as well. And then I was fortunate enough to play at Manchester. Right place, right time, more than it was talent. But, I loved it. And now I've got into the goalie coaching, and that's taken off massively. And all I want to do is just give back to everyone and anyone who ever helped me. But I mean, it's more so now because there's no goalie coaching in the country. We're trying to develop it. Ewan King's the forefront leader for it, and myself and my brother and other coaches have jumped on board and trying to develop it across the country, so much so that we brought out the GK1 this year for development for goalie coaches. So we're breaking into GB now. Me with the women's programme, I brought in Danny Milton as well. That's all thanks to Cheryl Smith and James Ashton helping us with that. And now we're trying to get into the men's programme. So hopefully with my brother as GB16's coach, I can get into there. And then Ewan King pushing, being the head leader of the coaching programme for Britain. Maybe he can hopefully get in there, maybe 18s and 20s, and we can push to try and make it across the board and make goaltending better across the country.
I mean, we have had some landmark British tenders over the years. Of course, the first one that springs to mind, Stevie Lyle, and Steve Murphy, and now more recently Ben Bounds.
Yeah.
But it's always very tricky for British goaltenders in this day and age to break into the top levels. And we are very lucky that we do have British goaltenders, though sadly few and far between, in the top level.
Yeah, it is sad, and I've made this point many, many times before. That it does frustrate me that we've got such good talent out there and it's not used at the higher levels. There's no reason why British goalies who are playing in the Elite League as backups can't be playing those cup games. You know what I mean? Can't be playing those challenge games. Even in games like last week, I'm not saying the name of the certain team, but they were losing 7-1. They've got a GB20s goalie and they never even put him in. It's frustrating, this development for them as well.
As you say, you only get better if you play.
Yeah, you've got to play. You can train and be the best you can at training, but your eye has got to be in it when it comes to game playing, when it comes to goaltending. You've got to play.
And it's a tough position. It's a hard fight to be a goaltender. Sometimes teams can be short on goaltenders, and other times, once you are a goaltender, if you're sat on the bench, it's frustrating because you want to play, and then at times, particularly at ED or NIHL level, sometimes you can have two equal goaltenders. One has a hot streak, one has a cold streak, and then they can turn. Yeah. This happened with Widnes a few years ago, where we were very fortunate that goaltenders could be rotated. But other times, it is very frustrating when you're wanting to get out there.
It is lonely out there as a goalie, and you've got to be so mentally strong, shall I say, because you can be thrown in there at any time if you are a backup, and yet if you're number one, you've got to be switched on and you've got to have your game on par to be able to allow your team to win. And that's the hardest thing. You're out there on your own. Yeah, you've got a team around you and you've got support, but you are on your own. It's you and that puck, and you've got to stop it from going in that net.
And as the hardest part in a way for a goaltender, assuming you don't get changed out, you play the full 60 minutes.
Yeah, we get to play the full 60 minutes. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it can be really intense in that net. You're sliding, lateral release either side, moving around your crease, T-pushing, shuffling, recovering. It's up and down, stick saves, dived on, collapsed on, even nailed in some cases. And invariably someone crashing in the net. And, it's tough. But then there's other times where you've got to stay focused, and as I say, you've got to be mentally strong. You've had 2 or 3 shots because your team's had so much possession of play down the offensive zone, and you're getting, all of a sudden it's a breakaway. You've got to be switched on. It is tough.
It was great seeing the kids today. Some of these young guys, very agile, particularly the goaltenders, and even at their age, I could never have dropped into this, even just sort of onto my knees and back up as quickly as they can. I really take a lot of respect for them. They work so hard.
Yeah, all the kids worked hard. And I think the goaltending is getting better across the country, and this is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve. But there's some players out there, wow, they've got some great skill for young ages. 6, 7 years of age, we were in toe drag. Some guy was on a breakaway, puts it through that little lad's legs, goes down and then puts it top bins. It was like, wow, what a goal.
And this is the kind of thing we want to see, and this is why we enjoy coming down and seeing all the junior developments and hopefully see them perform at higher levels as they get through their careers in hockey.
It is, and it's those kids, they'll just grow, progress and get better and better. And that's all you want. You just want kids to improve and improve ice hockey as a whole across Britain.
Well, thanks very much for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch up again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was great to catch up with both Sam and Dave at the weekend. I mean, Sam's interview was really good. I mean, is the way in which the 18s had adapted to take a big win against D-side on Saturday was something really, really special for them.
And the first win as well.
Yes, a very important win. Something that they were very close to a few weeks back, but it wasn't quite getting the bounces. And this time they've turned it round, and the game sheet. I mean, we've got the game sheet up here, and the statistics were quite good in terms of of Sam's tally: 5 goals and 2 assists. But we also had assists for Joel Bark, James Perkins, Catherine Fairclough, Dave Gerrock, Luke Malarkey got 1 goal, 2 assists, and Rory Sillery got a goal. So they are managing to spread things around as well. And a good spread of goals, 2 power plays, a short-handed, and the rest were all even-handed. So it's just good to see that everyone, they're all digging in, it's all starting to gel. Particularly, as they said, they're a new team to the league this year. So in many cases, people aren't expecting them to do too much, but it's that extra boost. It just pushes you that bit forward.
Yeah, it was like when the main Wild team started. We just didn't know what to expect, and it just took time to build. It
did. And, well, I tip my hat to everybody who was involved and came along and supported the under-9s on Saturday. That was a fab little event. The guys on the ice, none of them wanted to stop. They just, as we said in the interview, we had an announcement. You give a quick announcement about 1 minute to go in each game. Then the buzzer goes, because the kids are that used to just listening to a buzzer to dive on and do their little line change. The buzzer goes, and it's the end of that little game. It's like, you have to announce it, because they're like, I don't have to go diving on to get the puck and everything. And they just keep going and going and going. And then seeing them do full ice was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I know, but they look tiny on that.
They do, but they didn't. They actually didn't look tiny. They filled the ice pad properly and played positioning and moved around well and didn't get drawn into sort of all being sucked into one place. They were listening to what the coaching was being told to them, how to stay in positions, where to line up. And I did feel it for the second little session that they had, because skating the opposite direction. So they were getting a little confused, going, hang on a minute, because under 11s, they don't change ends each period.
So someone proper Forrest Gumping it going the wrong way.
We did have a couple of them, and there's the coaching and guys on the ice are going, no, you want to be going the other way. But in some ways, I think it's good to change ends, because you get used to playing hockey how you would play hockey. And so when you're going into under 11s, you're only playing one direction. Then you go to playing under 13s, which is then switching ends for each period. It can get the poor so-and-sos can get a little confused. But yeah, really, really good. Worth a visit. We do have some junior stuff coming up this coming weekend. Before we get into all that, I think we'll have a little break for a little bit of music. Something a bit different. Bit of Calvin Harris and Ellie Goulding. And, of course, it's fixtures time and what's on guide. So don't forget, of course, if you want to check out everything to do with your YKK Widnes Wild, Our Facebook pages and Twitter pages, Facebook or Twitter.com/WidnesWild for the club, or for the radio show, it's TTGW Radio. To email the radio show during the week, it's radio@widneswild.co.uk. And we have our Instagram page, instagram.com/WidnesWild official, YouTube page, youtube.com/WidnesWild Ice Hockey Club. And of course, we now have a Podbean. We are trying out Podbean. And if you check out ttgwradio.podbean.com, hopefully you'll be able to catch the podcasts on there. There's only limited space, but we will be putting them up and rotating them on there over the coming weeks. So you can also get them through relevant podcast download facilities. Don't forget, we also have all of your information on widneswild.co.uk, including your own and loan shirts. If you are still interested, you can put your name down, reserve one as part of a Christmas present for somebody. They are £80 for a home or an away game shirt, or £60 if you want one of the blue warm-up shirts. Finally, of course, from my little involvement in this segment, we have our sponsors, of course. Ever so thankful and grateful for them. Headline sponsor, YKK. Our penalty box sponsor, the Sepsis Trust. And our other sponsors include Sprakes & Son of Widnes, DMH Tyres, CL Woodworking, Blast and Paint Stripping, Bespoke Conversions of Widnes, and our charity, Stick and Step. Andy, we've got quite a lot of fixtures between now and the end of the year, have we not?
As always, quite a few. So Saturday, 14th of December, Solihull under-15s versus Widnes under-15s, 6:15 face-off. Widnes under-11s versus Billingham under-11s, again 6:15. And Widnes under-18s v Manchester under-18s, 7:45. Sunday, 15th of December, Widnes Wild Women are at home to Solway Sharks Ladies at 5:30. And we've got Solihull Barons versus Widnes Wild in the Midland Cup, again 5:30 face-off. Saturday, 21st of December, Widnes under-13s versus Manchester under-13s, 6:15. Widnes under-15s versus Blackburn under-15s at 7:45. Sutton under-18s v Widnes under-18s is a 10-6 face-off. And Sheffield Shadows v Widnes Wild Women at 25-3. Bit of an odd face-off, that one. Still on Saturday, Sutton Sting versus Widnes Wild, again Midland Cup. I think that's our last game. And that is at 7:30. Sunday the 22nd, we've got Widnes Under-9s Cross-Ice Tournament at Bradford. 5 o'clock kick-off on that one. Widnes Wild v Hull Jets. That's going to be a big game after this weekend. 5:30 face-off as always. Saturday 28th December, Blackburn Hawks D2 against Widnes Wild, 6:15 face-off. And Sunday the return, Widnes Wild, Blackburn Hawks D2, 5:30 face-off.
A very, very busy fixture list between now and the end of the year. And as we just said, the first Christmas games, I suppose you could say, we've had since the Widnes Wild came into being, the weekend of the 28th and 29th of December, when it's Blackburn Hawks in Blackburn and then the Hawks 2 back in Planet Ice Widnes. And yeah, it's not, usually we've had Christmas off, but I think because of the amount of cup games and stuff, it's a case of fitting in what we can when we can, isn't
We've got to catch up big time.
Yeah, we really, really do. And as you were saying, the game against Hull on the 22nd of December is really going to have a big impact now.
Especially after the scores this weekend.
Definitely. I mean, nobody, I think, on sort of standard form would have predicted Altrincham beating Hull in Hull, but Altrincham have been on a bit of a roll recently. It
was actually Chris Jones from D-side last night in the penalty box, and he said, no offence to them, but with the exception of Blackburn, there is no result you can take for granted in this league at the minute. No, not at all. You look at the actual league and yeah, it's tight. It's the tightest, I think. Over the last 2 years that we've been doing the Time to Go Wild radio show, we've said it's been tight. But as we come up to Christmas, it is as tight, if not tighter than ever. 7 teams all seriously scrapping along, trying to get a breakaway, and nobody's getting a breakaway at the moment. I mean,
Bradford have been beaten recently, Hull have been beaten recently, Widnes have been beaten recently, so that maximum points tally now has started to drop a bit, and everyone's still in the mix. No one's getting a bit of a jump start now.
No, and I think that's credit to teams like D-side, like Altrincham. I mean, that's the first time in years they competed last night with Widnes.
Yes, yeah, and it was, as you said, like a D-side Widnes D-side game of 3 or 4 years ago before they went into Morley.
Yeah, it was everything again. It was fast. There was penalties. There was obviously the fights and things, but the crowd were up for it.
Everyone, yeah. It was loud, proud, noisy, full of energy, absolutely full of energy from start to finish.
And I don't know where people keep getting them horns from, but gosh, they're annoying.
Yeah, well, there was one I saw one in the D-side crowd, and there's one, of course, resident within the Widnes crowd that we know of.
Yes, we're aware of him.
And the drum. And there's a couple of other hooters that have appeared, and at least no one's put a vuvuzela in. Please do not bring vuvuzelas. They are so loud.
That's it, you've mentioned it now. Next week.
No. Someone brought a vuvuzela into a game in Hull one day, and it was deafening. It was one of the visitors brought one. And honestly, you think back to, what was it, South Africa World Cup?
Oh, God, yeah.
It sounded like you sat in a swarm of bees. With the, if you listen to it on the radio or watching, you could hear this buzz. It sounded like rampant bees. And honestly, just hearing one in a reasonable size, to 1,800 capacity ice hockey rink, it was loud.
Yeah, but I know it's hard on the players, that type of game last night, but God, it was just nice to have it back.
Yeah, it was. It was. Well, we'll have another little song, have a little breather, and then, of course, we've got some nice news items to come. One in particular to reward players. Something a little different from Creedence, a classic from them, Up Around the Bend. We now have a treat for you all. Live on the line, hopefully, we have our head coach from the YKK Widnes Wild, Mike Clancy. Mike, I hope you're with us.
Hi, Colin.
Thank you for joining us. There we go, make sure everyone can hear you. So, yeah, a lively affair last night against D-side and a busy weekend for everybody.
Yeah, fantastic game in Telford on Saturday. Boys turned up, played a great game. Spirit, energy, everything was fantastic. Struggling to take in a little bit on Sunday. I think we played really, really well. Certainly outshot them hugely throughout the game. A few mistakes. I guess if I was going to put it into detail, I would say that D-side wanted it a little more than we wanted it on the day. And again, I'll take responsibility. I pulled the goalie at the end when we were trying to push it for that third goal, get the equaliser, and ultimately it cost us.
It's always a trick when you pull the goaltender. It's a risk. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it can pay off twice. And other times it's just that gamble. And D-side were pressing very, very hard to make sure that they held on to that little lead.
Yeah, they played, to be fair, a real aggressive forward-checking game from start to finish. I thought their energy was really, really good throughout the game. They didn't give us a minute on the puck in our own zone, despite the fact we could take the ice. I just felt their pressing made it really, really difficult.
It's always tough when you've had a big game. I mean, Telford have never been an easy side for Widnes to play against, and you came back from being behind in that game on the Saturday, and as you say, some of the energy possibly took its toll on the Sunday.
Yeah, I think people forget we've got quite a big squad. We've got 25 players signed for us. We've gone through a huge patch of strangeness when it comes to hockey. Part of that being injuries to players. We're still missing Novak really from the start of the season. A number of others. Mike Bauer's now injured as well. It's I don't know. It'll come back. We just need to keep working hard, believe in the systems, keep playing for each other, and it'll come back. I'm confident.
And we're also currently missing Chris G at the moment, so he'll hopefully be back with us soon after a suspension. So I mean, player of the night went to Dan Fay, and I think it was thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, I think he played very well. I'd have to be honest. It was a difficult one. There was again 3 or 4 players we had the same issue in Telford. There was a number of players that stood up that could have took the man of match. For me, I felt Jan played extremely well on Sunday. He was pretty consistent on the ice. He's very strong at the back. He doesn't over-panic the puck. Likewise, Phil Pearson, 93% saves average. He stopped some real key shots at different times, some big breakaways from D-side. Extremely good game. Big Kemp, he didn't really put a foot wrong.
No, I mean, Lee was there and there was a lot of tussles going on, and there was only really one big tussle moment, but heads were managed to keep cool throughout a lot of the game. I mean, it was also nice seeing young Jake Lounders from our under-18s getting a slot on the bench, so getting an experience of being part of the senior team last night as well.
Yeah, we've always said that development is key, but it'll always be at the right time for those players to experience the ice side of it. Sam's breaking into the team in a bigger way for us this year, but we are going to get games where it's going to be difficult for Sam to get ice. I think Jake, Sam, keep training with us on a Tuesday. Sam can play a bigger part in some of the weaker games, but when physicality comes, like D-side we're going to bring, and we knew they were going to bring it, then you've got to look after the players that you've got on the ice, and especially youngsters at 16 years old.
I mean, Peter Toth took a big hit at one point into the boards. It was a shoulder on shoulder, but because of where it was positioned, he went down. There was a bit of a stoppage in play, and as you say, you've got to make sure that the younger players in particular don't have to take those kinds of hits unnecessarily.
Yeah, I think that there was a total lack of regarding anyway from D-side in that sense last night. I mean, every player that picked the puck up were going to get hit, whether it was Mike Mauer, whether it was Big Kemp, whether it was Faye. They just kept working, but we knew that was their sort of game. That was what they were going to bring. Yeah, difficult one. I'm still finding it hard to swallow. But you know what? We come back stronger.
I mean, this weekend it's just the one big fixture, Solihull away in the Cup, so a chance to try some other things. It's been a big experience, definitely. That Cup.
For me, the Cup, we really needed to test ourselves at that level. If we want to sustain and play at D1, then we really needed to test ourselves against some of the key teams. I think, for me, I know what we need to do at that level. I think the team have understood what sort of commitment it's going to take to play at that level. So for us all, despite the fact everyone's saying it's a little bit of a hindrance to our league position and where we are and consistency, I think it's really served its purpose. It's taught us what we needed to get out of it to be able to compete in that league.
And, well, they've got to play a lot more games potentially, so it's checking on stamina, checking on fitness, availability of players, so fingers crossed it's going to hopefully not go against us as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think we'll get into the Christmas break a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some bodies back. We'll continue to go strong, still training Tuesdays, Thursdays. The team are up for it, I can tell you that. They're really looking to play for each other. I think they're all slightly accountable for the game on Sunday. I don't think anyone would stand up and say it was any particular person's fault in any way. The team would take that on the chin as a whole. I think we just got outworked on the day.
It's one of those things that happens. It was a serious, I mean, if you want to put a neutral's hat on, I mean, it was exciting, forechecking, physical, fast, everything you want from a hockey game. From a Widnes point of view, not quite the ending we wanted, but it's, as you say, sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Yeah,
that's the game of hockey. Some games you go to and you completely dominate and you don't get the result. Some games you go to and you're matched evenly and it can go one goal either way. You know what? It was a one-goal game, really. I probably pulled the goalie a little bit early. To be fair, I should have waited till we had a little bit more control of the puck. But hey, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? If we'd have scored the goal, I'd have been the hero. If we didn't score the goal, I'm the villain.
It's the way it is. Yeah. It's a heroes and villains thing. Well, we'll leave things here for now, and we'll catch up with you again really soon. Thanks for joining us live on air.
Thanks, Colin. Take care, guys.
Okay, and we'll catch up with you again really soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, that was really good, that, Andy. Makes a nice change.
Yeah, completely honest about the game, isn't he?
It is. So, it's one of those gambles, as Mike says, when you pull the goaltender, anything can happen. So you just have to take it as it comes in the end.
It's hockey gods. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like he said. If it worked, yeah, absolute genius. It was just that one time they pressed, they got the quick break, just puck went the wrong way and they sent it down the ice. That was it.
It's another little breather with a few items of news. I have got the right piece of music going. First off, I think you should say about one of the things that happened when the first goal went in last night.
So we had the Bear, or Teddy Toss. Or...
It's raining bears. Hallelujah, it rained bears.
So I think it's a massive thank you from everyone involved in it. I think the fan total was 121.
Something like that, yeah.
121 bears, which are going to get distributed out this week.
Of various sizes, from little tiny things up to one. There's a couple that you could sit in. There's a couple of rather large ones, weren't there?
Yeah, especially the one from YKK, so big thank you to them as well.
Yes, massive thank you for their contributions, and everybody, both sets of supporters who brought bears in bags, and we'll say a big thank you to all the clubs around, not just the country, but in all the leagues that are doing this for charities. I mean, there's some of them where they've had it where the ice has been completely covered. I mean, there's footage of some of the National Hockey League games or North America games.
The North American ones are unbelievable.
And people on the back row in the gods are throwing bears. They're landing on people's heads, and then they're throwing them down, and there's sort of this cascade of teddy bears in bags, and the ice just ends up swamped.
It'd be nice to get to that in a couple of years.
Yeah, well, but it's fantastic that everyone's been contributing to this. So massive thank you to everybody. Another thing that's been going on: Oddballs Player of the Month. So, we shall start with National League. Andy, who's our Oddballs, who's the NAHL Oddballs Player of the Month for the National League this month?
So, National League, it's Dan Weller-Evans, Basingstoke Bison.
Congratulations. Moving to D1 North, we've got Phil Edgar from Whitley Warriors. D2.
We've got Vlad's Vulkanovs from Aces.
Congratulations. D1 South, it goes to Christian Cole from the Solent Devils.
And then we've got Joe Bliss from the Mustangs.
For the South 2. And we also have the Women's National Ice Hockey League winners. So starting off with the Elite, Andy.
So in the Elite, it's Megan Burton from Solihull Vixens.
And then we've got from Premier League, it's Maya Harewood from Cardiff Comets. From D1 South, it's Jodie Attrell from the Slough Sirens. For D1 North,
I'll let you do this one.
No, you have to.
D1 North, it's our very own Emma Pearson, Widnes Wild.
Yeah, so there you go. Congratulations to every single one of them on obtaining an Oddballs Player of the Month for the EIHA leagues. Massive well done to everybody, and hopefully they will be sporting their Oddballs beanies in their respective rinks. So it's good. It's really nice that there's actually now a little something to go with the Player of the Month awards from within the EIHA. It's a nice little gesture as well to go with it.
Yeah, because I want one of them hats now.
I've seen a couple of people wearing them.
No, you can't just get them. I'm just gonna buy one and say I got Player of the Month. Penalty box of the month.
Penalty box attendant of the month.
I did actually have a complaint last night because there were no sweets.
Oh, didn't saw them. They probably hid them. Didn't want them.
Well,
they had that much energy last night. I don't think they needed it.
Mysteriously, we said, because I wasn't meant to be working last night again, and ended up getting dragged in. As I always do. Just if you're not meant to be working, don't turn up at the rink. You just end up working anyway.
Yeah.
And I made the complaint to say, well, I don't even have sweets with me. And about halfway through the first period, I turned around and a bag had turned up from somewhere.
Oh, the sweets will arrive from somewhere. There's a part bag of Haribos and other sweeties are available, kids. But things like that just happen.
Yeah, so no idea who the mystery elf was who dropped the sweets off, but thank you very much.
Sometimes you need the extra sugar to keep you warm. Depends on the rinks, but I don't know. I think poor Dick Gillingham was quite lonely in the Widnes penalty bin last night. He only had to open it for two major-ish moments, which was the Matt Tarpey penalty and one on Mike Mauer.
Yeah, and I said to you, I didn't think it was that busy at all. And they said we had that one sort of period around the sort of kerfuffle going on.
Yeah, 18 to 20 minute mark. Yeah.
And then I thought that was it, really quiet. And then you told me how many penalties there was.
Yeah, it was a total of 8 penalty minutes, but 6 of those were on Matt Tarpey for a 2+2+2, and then. But on D side, it was 22 penalty minutes, of which one of them was a 2+2. And in part, I think one of the things that D side did really well was defending, because there were a lot of power plays and Widnes couldn't capitalise.
And it was a lot of, and I hate to say this because everything, it's the training and everything is so hard. It was a lot of scrappy in front of the goals, a lot of just sticks getting in the way, and it just would not fall.
Yeah, there was some massive brilliance of some saves from Sam Bolwell. There was a lovely post-to-post manoeuvre at one point. 2-on-0, the usual routine. One player's coming down right side. He's going to do the post-to-post pass. Usually goaltenders can't get across quick enough. Next thing, bang. Straight in.
Yeah, she had a cracking game.
And she was down post-to-post, did it, and top form for her. Brilliant.
The Widnes wild curse of the keeper again.
Sometimes it is, yeah. Yeah, she's really had a top game last night, and the way that a lot of the results are going for D-side at the moment, good goaltending helps it come from the back. I mean, having Phil Pearson for Wild at the moment.
I was very impressed with their import last night. Can't remember his name. It's a good job he can't shoot.
Was that Raznicek?
Was it?
Radim Raznicek, yeah, number 55. He's fast.
He was seriously fast, and God can he skate.
Yeah. Well, you think to the likes of Jakub Hajek or even Pavel Valles when he skates.
Yeah.
We miss him. Pav, where are you? If you're listening, drop us a message. Let us know what you're doing. A lot of his escapades have been on Instagram of recent. So, yeah, I mean, just the last couple of comments in the last minute or two. Just looking at the table, potential top points have dropped now. Maximum potential points is 50 now, because of the way the results have gone. So, yeah, but generally, they're all within sort of 10 points. And it's very, very tight.
Well, we've got that bit with Bradford, Hull, and us all within a point.
Yeah.
And then right behind, Alty, D-side, 45-44 potential.
Yeah. Senators 42.
Senators 42, so it only takes, one bad weekend.
Yeah. And next thing you know, that potential max starts taking a hit, and before you know where you are, you're dropping down. I mean, the team that's still picking up the best tally is Hull on 1.54 points per game. But anything can happen. One bad week.
And I think you've really got to watch Altrincham.
Oh, yeah. They've really, really come to light. They've really gelled. And
I'm not going to say, but a certain player left.
Oh, 2.
Or 2 certain
players have left. And
they started playing hockey.
Yeah. Well, we've known this with Altrincham. When they play hockey, they were dangerous. We've had that in the past whenever we've gone to Altrincham. And they've not been physicaling it up and they've been skating at you. They're dangerous. And any team that, when they're playing when they're in that zone, I mean, Hull the other year, they had that big run, and they were almost unstoppable. And it was a lot. I mean, same with Widnes last year.
Yeah.
Got on that run, and when you play relaxed, that's when you win. And that's the difference. When teams play relaxed, they're in the zone, and that's when they start winning. So, in a way, you can see how well teams are playing at the moment by how tight that league is. And this year, yet again, D2 North Laidler is tight.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, despite as much as a 1 and 2, I can't see Blackburn getting a point.
No, it's a shame. They might sneak one, but who knows? Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
As long as it's not the weekend, 28th, 29th.
Yeah. Too much Christmas pudding. Well, That's about it for another week. We will just get a little bit of Nile Rodgers and George Michael's fantasy to play us out. Andy, thanks again for coming.
Thank you. It's my last one before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to everyone.
And thanks to Mike for coming on and everyone else who's been on interviews. That's it for Time to Go Wild for another week. We'll catch you next week with more. I'll be back on Thursday from 9. But from Time to Go Wild for another week, till next time, ta-ra.